Hello, I am Salome, one of the many disciples of Jesus. Let me tell you, Jesus and I go way back. I am the sister to Mary, which makes me Jesus' aunt. I was near on Christmas and met Jesus soon after he was born. Many years later, I was present at Jesus' crucifixion. I helped to prepare him for burial. Mary Magdalene, Mary Mother of James, and I all went to anoint Jesus. I brought the spices. But when we got to the tomb, we realized the large boulder at the tomb entrance was already rolled away. We went into the tomb, but we were frightened when we saw a man in a white robe. He told us we were looking at Jesus of Nazareth, who had been raised, and to tell his disciples that he is going ahead to Galilee. The three of us were alarmed by this and fled the scene. I didn't know what this all meant, but was too amazed to spread the news right away.
I am Mary, the mother of James. I know Jesus because my son was one of his apostles. And one day, me and my friends were going to the tomb 3 days after Jesus had been crucified to deliver these spices to the body. But when we came there, the stone had been rolled away and the body wasn't there. And suddenly these two men with shining clothes appeared out of nowhere and asked us why were we looking for him. Because he's not dead, he's risen. And so we went back to the apostles and tried to tell everything to them, but they didn't really seem to believe us because we sounded like we were crazy. But Peter ran over to the tomb to check what was happening, and he didn't find anybody, but he found these strips of linen lying by themselves. And so he at least seemed to be wondering what had happened. And so now I'm very excited. I am very surprised that he actually followed through and he's back and he's risen. So I'm hoping that this means good things because I'm glad to have our leader back.
Hi, my name is Simon Peter. I've been a disciple of Jesus for many, many years. And following his crucifixion, we were all very scared. All of our disciples, we were in hiding because we just saw Jesus get crucified and we didn't know what the Jews would do, possibly to us because we were followers of Jesus, associated with Jesus. So we were very unsure about what would happen next. So just for our safety, we were in hiding. And one day while I was in hiding, I was sleeping very early in one morning, just a few days after Jesus had been crucified. It was still dark, and Mary Magdalene came and woke me up, and she said, Jesus has been removed from the tomb. So I was very confused. So me and another disciple, we immediately started running to the tomb. The other disciple was a bit faster than me, so he beat me there. But I arrived there, and we went inside to the tomb, and we looked inside, and Mary was right. Jesus was completely gone. All that were left were his burial garments there. We were astounded. We thought someone had stolen Jesus from the tomb. We we're very afraid about what this means. We thought possibly some of the Jews, now they crucified him, now they've stolen his body. We were afraid for our own safety. We thought that they'd done all these things to Jesus, maybe to do something to us too. So we were very confused about what was happening. We decided that this could be a threat to our own safety, and we decided that we had to return to our homes and go back in hiding.
I am Samson, a disciple to Jesus. I was walking along the road on the way to Emmaus with another disciple named Cleopas. A man came up to us and asked us what we were discussing, and I was amazed he didn't seem to know about the events that had unfolded. We explained to him what had happened a few days ago, and how Jesus of Nazareth had been crucified by some of the chief priests. However, when some of our women went to his tomb, they couldn't find his body, and claimed that angels had told them he was in fact alive. This man told Cleopas and I to believe all that the prophets had spoken. When we reached Emmaus, the man broke bread with us, and I recognized him to be Jesus of Nazareth. However, before I could do anything, he disappeared. Cleopas and I returned and told the 11 about the events that had just occurred. After thinking about this, it seemed at first hard to believe that Jesus had indeed risen from the dead and come back to us. However, he had talked to us and broke bread with us, so I began to believe that he had indeed returned, and I was filled with happiness and excitement at the thought of his return.
Hello, I am Luke, one of Jesus' disciples. I know him very well by being one of his loyal followers for many years. The other disciples and I were talking to two men who had seen Jesus when all of a sudden he appeared in front of us. We were originally frightened, but then we saw the marks on his hands and feet and knew that he had resurrected. Jesus ate with us and told us that he fulfilled the prophecy. Now that I know Jesus has saved us from sin, I'm going to spread the good news throughout Jerusalem.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I'm from the city of Galilee. I knew Jesus because I was one of his 12 disciples. The other disciples told me that Jesus had been resurrected and that they saw him, but I didn't believe them. A week later, Jesus came to the house where the disciples were, and I saw him with the nail marks in his hand. As a result, my faith in Jesus had been reaffirmed.
My name? Well, most people call me Matthew. I used to be a tax collector, but then I met Jesus. How I met him? Well, that's a funny story. Right when I saw him, I knew that he was special. I invited him to dinner, a dinner party, at my home with my friends. And he said yes. I realized that my life's calling was to follow him, so I gave up what I had and he accepted me into his life. Let's get on with it. There was one story in particular you wanted to know about. The other disciples and I went to a mountain, like Jesus had told us to. We went and worshiped God, but we weren't sure if Jesus would appear to us. We didn't know if we had just dreamed his return. But, sure enough, he came to us and told us that we were to spread the news of his life and of God's love for everyone. Then, he told us that he would never leave us. I was so happy, and I was ready to baptize the world in his name.